Right then, welcome back to the channel. This is Fixing Manchester United. Now, the club have embarked on a squad rebuild under Ineos. In episode 1, I looked at the financial reality that faces the club. In episode 2, we analysed whether or not Ruben Amorim is the right man for the job. Now, this is episode 3. We're going to tackle the biggest challenge yet, rebuilding the squad to fit that new vision under the new manager. I'm going to break down who needs to be sold and why, who comes in, what they bring, and how this new squad is built to compete. So first of all, we have to look at the key problems in the squad that need fixing. Before we go into who leaves and who comes in, we need to assess where we're at. What is wrong with the squad in the past year or so, and why a rebuild is absolutely necessary. The main problem for me is no reliable striker. United have struggled for goals. Højlund was promising and raw. You had Rashford, but he just decided he wasn't going to be doing anything at all this season. And that was it. There was no one else in the squad that was going to be the focal point to lead that attack. Every other player in there, you was asking for them to deliver the best season they'd ever had. You had rookies, or you had unproven talent like Anthony that were you were hoping that they might kick on and do something, but there was no one that you could rely on. In midfield, you've got age and you've got imbalance. Casemiro and Eriksen are too slow for this high-press system. They lack the legs to cover the ground, and the midfield is getting overrun. The wing-backs, we didn't have any. Now, we've addressed the left side with Dorgu coming in the winter transfer window, but we still need a right-side wing-back. United just completely lack an attacking outlet in the right wing-back spot. Dalot just isn't at the level that you need. He's not fully the attacking threat that you're looking for, but he's been massively inconsistent under Ruben Amorim. And then there's depth in defence. You've got Maguire and you've got Lindelof, who are your depth players, as well as the likes of Johnny Evans. You've got Lisandro Martinez, who's injury-prone. United need faster, more ball-playing centre-halves that are going to fit the system and be able to cover the ground that players in that back three are going to be asked to do. And overall, there is a lack of athleticism and a lack of depth. Too many slow, too many aging players, players that lack intensity, pressing ability, or rotation options. And there's also a wage bill problem. Loads of players on huge wages that don't contribute enough. The squad needed an overhaul to remove players on expensive contracts and reinvest in young, hungry players. What's the solution? Move on the underperformers, the expensive players, and bring in high-energy, under-25 signings that fit a modern, high-pressing system, which is easier said than done. But let's have a look at how we do that. Now, we have to get rid of some people, and that has to be some realistic sales. A squad rebuild starts with clearing out some of those who don't fit the system, and there's going to be some big names that have to go to raise the funds and free up the space in the squad. First and foremost, it's going to be Marcus Rashford. Now, 40 million looks like the deal is going to be done to Aston Villa. He is back in the England squad. He hasn't scored, but supposedly he's in the form of his life again. All right, cool. Give us our 40 million and we'll part ways, and he can carry on rebuilding his career, and United can try and move on. Last season was a huge dip in form. United need consistency in attack. Rashford wasn't providing it. I don't think anyone's got the confidence he's going to turn it around while he's still at United. The wages are far too high to justify his inclusion. If Villa offer 40 million, let's take the chance. Anthony. Now, he's done all right, actually, since he's gone to Real Betis. If you get 25, 30 million for it, I'd absolutely take it. He was an £85 million signing, and he might be the worst signing in Premier League history. I think he's been horrendously bad. I don't see any redeeming features for him. How the club valued him at 30, 35 million and then signed off on 85 needs investigating, because it feels like money laundering. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, top and bottom of it is, he isn't good enough. He doesn't fit the system. He was not fancied in the slightest. Real Betis took him on loan. See if they'll take him permanently. And I'll take 25 million because it's better than nothing. Harry Maguire. Now, I don't know why, but West Ham seems like a good fit for him. Maybe Everton. 10 million, if we can get that for him, I'd be happy with that. He is too slow for a high line, and I don't think he's good enough on the ball. West Ham's deeper system, maybe Everton's deeper system, I think suits him a hell of a lot better. He's also on high wages, and he's not worth keeping as a backup because of those high wages. We get 10 million for him and his salary off the books. I'd be happy with that. Casemiro. This is the obvious one. By the sounds of it, we've tried our hardest to send him to the Saudi Pro League. It hasn't worked. Maybe we could get him off to the MLS. I don't know. But if we can get anything for him, and I've put 10 million here, but whether or not we get that, I don't know. There's been a massive decline in mobility from him. He's actually looked all right in a couple of cameos, but I feel like they're more the outlying in terms of performance. And his wages are 350 grand a week. Offload him and save millions a year. And, you know, if you can get anything for him, cut your losses and move forward. Christian Eriksen, I think he'll be a free transfer. Still got talent, still got the ability to create chances, but he just doesn't suit the team that we're trying to be. So let him go on a free transfer and free up that squad space. So what have we brought in then in total? 85 to 90 million quid. Plus the wages that we've saved, which are absolutely enormous. And they might go a little bit of a way to the PSR writing that we need. And this is the bit you're here for, isn't it? Who comes in and why? So with the funds raised and United's focused on signing young, high potential players that fit the system of high energy and pressing, here's who we need to sign. The number 9. Now, I've got a couple of options for us in the number 9 area. We've got Benjamin Sesko, 60-something million from RB Leipzig. We've got Mateta. And I think somebody along those lines is going to work for us. You've got Gyökeres at 80 million, which I think might be a bit too much expensive. And you've got Mateta at 20 million. I think one of those coming in provides competition for Højlund, but also allows rotation. Now, Gyökeres at 80 million is probably a little bit more than we really want to spend. Benjamin Sesko, 6'4", fast, good link-up play, world-class potential, and only in his early 20s. I think he fits the bill. Now, Mateta or Sesko, I don't really mind which of those it is. I think Gyökeres would be an interesting one, but I just don't think United are going to spend the sort of money that they would require on a player of that age profile. So, Sesko or Mateta coming in. Midfield, you've got to replace Casemiro and Eriksen, and I think this is how you do it. Anton Stack, 30 million. Hoffenheim, 6'4", physically dominant, box-to-box midfielder, covers ground, wins duels, keeps possession ticking, and balances United midfield by addressing a little bit of defensive security, either alongside Bruno or alongside Manuel Ugarte. Right wing back. This is a big one. And this might be the big signing. Jeremy Frimpong, 50 million. Leverkusen. Goal threat, explosive pace, elite attacking output, someone that already knows how to play this position and actually already knows Manchester as well. Gives United a consistent right wing back option and is a massive upgrade on Delo in attack. I also think we need to reinforce central defence as well. You've got Euro, you've got Heaven, who's looking good as he comes through. And I think there's a couple of options to be had here. Juan Jimenez is someone that we've just been recently linked to from Rosario. He's going to be about 10, 15 million or so. Absolutely fits what Ineos are trying to do. Massively high-rated 18-year-old centre-half prospect. I think if he came in, he would add depth. And I think Castello Lukeba from RB Leipzig. He's only young as well, 21, fast, good on the ball, would thrive playing in a high line, would thrive playing in Germany. And I think both of those are a better deal than someone like Inacio, who's going to cost you somewhere in the region of 50 million quid. So again, probably go with Lukeba, because I think he's more of a first choice right now than someone like Jimenez. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Jimenez and Lukeba brought in if we've got the money. Now, I also wouldn't mind United going into the market and picking up some smart free transfers as well, because there are smart free transfers to be had. And the one little wildcard smart free transfer that I'd like to see United go and get is Angel Gomez. Now, a lot of people think Angel's a number 10. I actually think he's a ball-playing midfielder that could play right in the centre of the park, depending on what the game was. And if he's available on a free transfer, he's someone that I absolutely want United to go and get, because he offers something entirely different, and he's someone that can dictate play and play make from deep. Again, he also knows Manchester United, and I think he would be a very, very good signing and fit perfectly in this system, giving us a multitude of different options and different styles of play in the middle of the park, which I think you need. Now, with those changes, United have got a balanced, competitive 25-man squad that I think is fit to implement Amorim's system. In net, we have got Onana, Bayindir and Harrison giving us free options. I think a lot of people are still a little bit jury's out on Onana. I thought he had an excellent season last year. Brilliant in his shot stopping, questionable with some of his ball playing. This year, he's kind of gone backwards in his shot stopping, and he's been awful in his ball playing. But so's the team. The team around him has been awful. So I'm not going to put it all on Onana, and I don't think it's a position that we're capable of addressing in the summer. So I'm going to say, listen, I think he could still be decent. Let's give it another year and fix him next year if we have to. Now, centre-halves, we've got some depth here now. Euro, Martinez, although I don't know if Martinez will start next season with the injury. He's obviously going to have a long way to come back. But Euro, Martinez, De Ligt as your first three defenders, I think gives you a real solid place to start from. And then you've got Heaven, Mazraoui, who's obviously got multiple positions he could fill in, but I like him at centre-half, Lekeba and Jimenez. And I think that gives you some serious options in the centre-half position. In terms of the wing-backs, we've got Frimpong, Dalot, Dorgu, Diego Leon, who's already been signed, and Harry Amas, giving us 5 options for just 2 positions. And then in midfield, Ugarte, Stack, Collier, Mainu, Bruno, and Angel Gomez. Starting to look like a bit of a squad now, isn't it? Up front, you've still got Xerxes, you've got Ahmad, you've got Garnacho, you've got Mount, you've got Højlund. I went with Mateta just for the price, and Chido Obi. Total spending, 195 million. Total sales, 85 to 90 million. Net spend, somewhere in the region of 100 million, which I think puts us right in the mix for financial limits. And we've upgraded every single area of the pitch. It's a balanced squad, 2 players for every single position, and we've leveled up the pace, the intensity, and the physicality in every single department. If there's one criticism of this team, you could argue that Jeremy Frimpong and Angel Gomez, not on the tallest of sides, but bringing in Stack, bringing in Mateta, you've balanced it out a little bit with some big lads in that squad. And I think it's financially sustainable as well, because you've got better value signings, you've lowered the wages, and you've got a squad that can grow together and actually do some stuff. Now, this is a young, hungry, faster, more intense squad that I think is not just built for modern football, but is built for our manager. And it's players that can play a high energy, aggressive brand of football. It's not just a rebuild, but it's the start of a new era for Manchester United. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Can this squad compete? I think it might be a little bit gun shy in terms of goals, but I don't know if you're going to fix that all in one window. You're hoping that Højlund will kick on, Xerxes can kick on as he starts to settle, Mateta can find the net 18 to 20 times a season, or maybe you would go with Sesko. But there you go. That's what I think would be a rebuilt Manchester United squad. In the next episode, we're going to be looking at how that squad goes and evolves and hopefully wins the league within the next 10 years. But give me your thoughts on how you think this squad would do if we manage to put it together, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.